Yo, we are back to the part. Oh, this part three. Second drops. As you can see, it's still Christmas in July. That's irrelevant right now. We're talking about drum and bass. So, second drops. Last time we went over just like the first drop, first section. Bet you're tired of me saying 16 bars by now. But yeah. So second drops. They can be anything and everything, or the same as the first part. It's all up to you, really. If any of you guys probably familiar with London Electricity, Tony Coleman runs Hospital Records. One thing he said, like in his podcast, the Hospital Records podcast, is about second drops. Building suspense is always make them different. Just no one wants to hear the same thing rehashed. Just make it something unique. Change a little bit here. Don't change some, make it stand out. Like so many DJs like these days don't even play full tunes. But, make a track that somebody would want to, play all the way through, because, first drop might be ridiculous, but second, it's just like, double ridiculous or whatever. It's kind of, this tune, the first is kind of, straightforward. This second is where it gets kind of weird. So you guys remember the first half. So I'll play the half of the build into the second drop. You guys can see what I did with this. All right, let's go. Yeah, that's the second drop. That's the rest of the tune, actually. Normally there might be an outro, but I just kind of use the last 16 to, break it down and, get rid of it. Finish it off, fading into nothing. So, before I get into the madness to this, that first 16 bars, let's just break down the overall structure. So you have the bill before, you have 16, which is the new, it's like a weird, funky mutation of that first initial idea. The whole thing is about funk, I guess. The drums, it's the funky drum or drum break, if you haven't figured that one out. Then you have the syncopated chords, the chord. There you go. And then, the boom, 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 boom of the bass line. Except that one's, this time I'm getting off topic. Never mind. Next 16 bars is pretty much It's kind of a blend between the first drop and the first section of the second drop. Like the bass line is from this second drop section, but the drums are, wait, what are they? Hold on one sec. Yeah, drums are back straightforward from like these sections over here. So, to transition to the last 16 bars, which is pretty much a copy of this 16 over here from the first drop section, except for a few changes like the strings, like the high or the low pass low pass filter on the strings. It doesn't open up to reveal like the sparkly strings. It just kind of stays there. It kind of builds down as the drums break down, and then fades into the darkness of the right side of the project file where nothing lives. Anyway, but to the part with the most difference, because everything else is kind of the same. You have the keys are the same. This things just built down, come in and out. We've talked about this. So let's get to the madness. So my idea for this goes along with the make it funky idea. And just like how weird could I get with it? Because I chop bricks up a little bit, but I don't go too crazy with like resequencing them and everything, which is what I did here. So you can see like the MIDI behind all the audio because I had to transform them. Some odd thing for those bounce transform is transform Studio One, but you get it, freeze it, same thing. But yeah, it was fun pasting all this stuff together and figuring out a groove. So let's look at these drums before I cut myself off again. All right, so yeah, so it's all that funk. Then some vocal hits, the hit when the kick drum hits, kind of like you would hear with just off top, think break, like the every time the kick hits. So I kind of made my own, like kind of inspired by that with some like pretty much vocal samples cut out of funk tune. It's probably James Brown, just like with this drum break, but yeah, it's really shuffly. Then you have this other break down here that follows the main break, but it's just a layer. It goes with it follows it pretty much the whole tune. It's just more high frequencies, shuffles. Makes it a bit more interesting. It adds a different color to it. Because without it, that's with. But without it, it's just kind of. There's a bit more splashy with it than have the verb. So it sounds like it's in a nice sized room, I guess. Sounds a bit more energetic. But anyway, then you have the bass line. Let's go to that. Which is just pretty much like a different version of the initial bass line. And it follows pretty close to the drum break. So every time you have a kick hit, you have like the low note of the bass line. And then, when the shuffles and snare go, you have the top part of the bass line. So Let's solo the kick actually. And then the top part. It doesn't really matter. But together, let's do that. Cool. You get that. So then we add the keys on top, which also emphasize like the downbeat and the syncopated rhythm that the kick and the first few notes of the bass line are doing. So all together, it sounds a bit, heavier, or heavier and a bit more energetic, I guess. So. And there you go. So, yeah, it's pretty much how things go. Because I didn't really drag it out. It was just this 16 bars. We see 8 bars halfway through. You have the fill again. So that it just pitches up with everything. I mean, pitches the drums up. Kind of pushes things along, So. Then you have the funky think part going on. And then another fill again where it pitches down instead of up. And then again to the next section, a crash. Then as far as fills go with the bass line, you have, I came up with yesterday during the Twitch stream. It just repeats, and then but the last 2 notes are kind of filtered down and reversed. Cool effect. Yeah, nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's kind of I wanted to break down, I guess, how I approach things. If you listen to any of my other tunes, probably suggested. But yeah, second drops, I always try to do something different. Make it not necessarily crazier, but different from the first half. So, some different energy, push things along. Sometimes it might sound like a completely different tune. I try not to do that because then you get like a different effect. It's kind of disjointed. It doesn't sound like a one cohesive song. It's like, here's a section, here's another section. And I really try to tie everything together. Yeah. So that's second drops. Like really the best thing I can do other than just going like I did the first video and like breaking down other people's tunes is something you can just listen to on your own. Really. It's like Noiser's really good at it. Definitely. A lot of newer fun guys, because there's always so much going into those tunes that stuff has to be different almost. And then on their level, it's like the sound design is completely like ridiculous. But then you have like liquidy guys, like think of Flight or New Tone, Spy when he does a liquid tune, Kino, well, it's called Hospital Artist, but yeah, you get it. Yeah, but second drops. Hopefully that helped. The basic idea is just try and make something different, something unique, Not just don't copy paste the beginning to the end. And if you're going to do that, switch it up a little. I copied the end of this part to the end of the tune, but it sounds a bit different because instead of opening, it kind of closes down, ends the track. So that's not so bad, but it's also the end of the tune. So by then you're not hearing it because, DJ's mixing out of it, or you're like skipping to the next tune. I skip tracks once I get to the end of them. I don't know if you do. But other than that, yeah. Hopefully that'll help. Second drops. I don't know if there'll be another. Do I really need? I was contemplating over doing a video with breakdowns, but there's not a whole lot going on there unless you really want to be musical about it, and now get into like progressions and adding to, I mean, if you can do an intro, you can do a breakdown. Just keep the energy going, build it up, that kind of thing. I don't think we really need a video on it, but if we do, comment. If you have questions, leave comments. Reach me on here. I always check the chat. Comments, social media like Twitter, SoundCloud, whatever, Instagram. I'm always posting something dumb on there anyway. But yeah, I already have a few ideas for the next few tutorial. It's one that's going to involve this tune too, because a lot of good stuff in here, I think, of ideas I've learned over the for my production career. Yeah, so I'm trailing off again. Anywho, Merry Christmas. See you in the next one.